Hello, welcome to the program. I am Suren. When I put myself under the microscope, I seem to observe familiar patterns with others around me. This has been the same since my childhood. I kept asking about the same or similar issues, which intrigued me. Whenever I vocalized my thoughts to others, often found that some people were unable to grasp the concepts under review, and so they remained within my inner world for a very long time. Telepathy also intrigued me, for it is broadcast thought, received or sent out, although it was previously unavailable to me. That is, until I was inspired, receiving impressions remotely from another source. What I discovered during my childhood was that when I open my eyes to a new day, I am consciously aware of my thought self, which thinks, and I expect to see and feel the elements of the physical world around me. Does my expectancy create the reality I consider as real? I seem to be not utterly certain about it yet. When I'm thinking, I know that I'm alive, for I am conscious. However, when I share those thoughts through my physical expressions to others, I seem to confirm the validity of my reality that I am thinking, and therefore I am conscious of my being. However, when on my own, I might choose to talk to myself, yet it might be my imagination, for in my dreams, like many others, I do the same. It is understood, therefore, that through interaction, we all know we are alive. When thoughts are shared in any dimension, it points to the fact that we are here, whereas all our memories remain illusional, as if remembered or virtually received elements of an ethereal realm. But how much is actual and real? When I'm gone from this reality, I too become an impression, remaining a thought and an idea. But was I there in the first instance? I can always imagine of being aware, for it is also within my reality, existing in a thought universe, although I remain an individual. Like everybody else around me, I am a free-floating energy and cannot see anything that stops the flow. I am aware of me all the time. However, I cannot claim to know everything about what processes exist to make me express myself again in another form. On further consideration, I still question, am I my own dream? My imagination and my fantasies? Am I the everlasting component of what I identify myself as, me, the dreamer, who creates the virtual reality of what I call me? Are we the one who is a very prominent biblical I am that I am? Why is it that we are many and yet only one? There are indications that it might be exactly so, for we discover throughout our history that we are stronger and better when in unity. Therefore, when all humanity is united, what could be the outcome? Just imagine, as can be seen today, if their ideals are opposing, there can be no unity. The Bible speaks of a great war between opposing powers, as if their conflicts are furthered in the heavens. Perhaps humanity is inspired by those opposing ideals in regard to what the elusive deity who might have desired to punish them by confusing their tongue and their social standing to impede their progress on earth. Who and what indeed inspires us, if it is true? Are we inspired to live the way we have done for ages? Are we the only decision makers? If the answer is affirmative, why do we, humans, live the way we do? If we can find a way to enjoy the beauty of life around us, no matter what, whether actual or dreamt of, without strife and without enmity, probably we, as an entire human race, will be enabled to know more truths and therefore advance. Imagine a world we could create without the problems we face every day of our current lives. One thing is certain, that as a whole human family, there can be no outside help to correct our ways. Until we make those corrections for ourselves, we will continue to grope in the dark. Instead of destroying each other, humans would do better by working with each other towards a common goal to achieve the ultimate advancement. Thereupon, they would have a brilliant future. May unconditional love be the guiding light. One of my favorite physicists is Neil deGrasse Tyson, who once said, "Not only we are in the universe is in us." I don't know of any deeper spiritual feeling than what that brings upon me. I was there when we created music. I was there when we made all things shine. I was there to feel the first spark of life. I was there, beloved. I was there. To see all space unfolding as a speck to all corners of universe. O mighty unseen presence, 'twas creation awakened to love's mist, self-sustained from a deep sleep, evolving. Unexamined life is not worth living, says Socrates. The one who takes things too seriously all day long has no joy in his life. The one who wastes the day in seeking amusement cannot maintain a position of fortune, says Ta Hotep. Let's go to the beginning once more of the very first chapter of my first autobiography in fantasy style. The grand essentials of happiness are something to do, something to love, and something to hope for. Ellen K. Chalmers. Unexamined life is not worth living, as I said before. Spoken by Socrates. I called my autobiography as My Life of Dreams. And I started with the words as it follows. Here is the story of a dreamer. Some live dreaming, others dream of living. At the end, there remains no substance. And the closest one can come up with is that it never was. Is this all there is to it? When you think about it, you might also ponder that all our lives, whether lived happily or not, seem more and more like it. The foam at the seashore only lasts for a short while, disappearing soon after. Also consider for a brief moment the beauty of a candle flame, which delicately flickers and dances to its own rhythm, while you eagerly watch. The candle melts and struggles one last time before leaving you in the dark. The flame and candle are gone, and your curiosity is awakened, asking where the candle went. Now consider our lives. Born, lived, struggled, learned, danced, and sang a song, and done everything one could dream about, hopefully to our heart's content. Now grown frail and old. Youth is gone. Dynamism is no more. Hopes, expectations, and dreaming continue for a while longer. And then suddenly, all is over. Is this how we are meant to live? Here now, and gone forever. all our thoughts, emotions, dreams, and hopes. Everything is gone. Is there any hope, a spark of light, or any indication that there is something beyond? Could life really be just oblivion and nothing more? Every time you open a book, it begins anew. However, when closed, it is almost as if it has been never opened. Do you remember everything? When memories are no more, what is left? Where did it all go? Our lives are like the ocean waves, affected by the ebb and flow, by the changing winds, by the warmth of the sun, and the phases of the moon. We too move to and fro as we start with little ripples and become great and fierce waves, just to end by the shore, then to go back and start all over again. The cycle repeats itself while we sing a song we seem not to know anything of. By the time we learn all about it, it may be a little too late. Someone else may continue to sing, and the whole world is once again filled with the music of joy or sadness. Are we altogether gone? Where are we placed within this equation? The drama written ages ago popularly repeats itself into now, as with all our pasts and dreams of tomorrow. We call this life. My name, I was known since my younger days, may have been given to me for a specific reason, as I mentioned there. It could have been a password for opening certain doors. I cannot be sure. Again, as a child, I felt that it was my name even long before my birth. In fact, I believed it was not, because my mother was recommended by others to do so. As I understand, she chose it, yet it might have been the identity of somebody she knew in the past. However, I knew that my father had no interest whatsoever in naming me. When I was able to formulate my words, whilst still very young, I questioned her, but she could not enlighten me. Later, as an adult, I discovered a number of interesting things about my name. It was originally Sanskrit, where it meant Lord over the heavenly bodies. It was Armenian, where it meant born of the sword. It was Nordic. It was Indian, but it was not common. Maybe, just maybe, I started dreaming as soon as I was born or arrived at the world. It may therefore be an excellent idea to tell you first about what I have become and where I am today. Hopefully, I have done that. What you have read and discovered is all about what I remembered. And everything I have written or spoken about is as factual as can be, but presented as a fantasy. Names and some places have been deliberately altered. You might find it interesting or prefer to discard it altogether. You might even choose to call me a dreamer, as many have done before. It is of no consequence or tragedy. If it is of some benefit to you, I will be immensely happy. If not, I will not be offended. Some of the things I have spoken or written about may sound like science fantasy, but what I remembered and have been presenting here are my own memories of the past, under no influence from other sources, and certainly not based on false memories, as some may prefer to think. They contain my own joys, fears, dreams, discoveries, and ideals. However, you will also find me quoting from other great thinkers, as you have done so, if you have read or listened to them, where appropriate, in support of my thoughts. I truly have made sure to present these memories as I know them to be. Therefore, I hope that they are going to be, as they may have been, as exciting and interesting for you to listen, read, and ponder about as they were to me whilst relaying them. I'm a scientist, a researcher, clinical psychologist, philosopher, and an artist. But I'm also an everlasting dreamer. I always hope that good things will happen to people of the world. Ever since my days as a toddler, I was able to feel every expression of existence surrounding me. Every sound I heard, every song I listened to, every face I recognized from some time ago. One might say that everything I have experienced was, without bragging, part of my forever dreaming. However, the only reality was still me. And this me was somewhat hidden behind a mask I was using as a vehicle, which was to become a major part of existence, expressing my person like the one known to the world. Frankly, I had no choice but keep playing a role. Perhaps just as it is with every other human being, and even as it was planned. I still ask, but was there a plan? Why was I here? Nobody, it seemed, was able to tell me about anything. I simply was. You might still think of what I relay here as if being based upon a false memory after being subjected to a fantasy story when I was very young. Could it be possible to be inflicted with that kind of adult memory when one is about 2 years of age in the human world? As I said then, I repeat, my mother used to worry about my mental state until she learned that I was a very imaginative youngster. Just many of us, just like you. Surely, I was as normal as any child of my age, needing to learn to formulate my words and speak of my memories after a certain sophistication in learning. Some friends of my mother apparently spoke about kinds of spirit possessions, making the toddler speak of adult stories. But it was never the case. How would they know? This would have worried her immensely. And so we have spoken about my memories. We have so much more to discuss and talk about. Things that would interest the entire world and you. Thank you for watching, being a part of this experience. We will meet again by the next episode. Until then, I wish you a very happy time. Keep smiling and be happy. Thank you.